Hey parents, thanks so much for checking out The Family Room, and any greenlight discussion of Ender's Game has to begin with the film's special effects. Most of the film takes place in these high-tech, futuristic training room sequences. I was joking with a friend afterwards that it's almost like Gravity Junior, because characters like Asa Butterfield's Enders has to practice with zero-G situations and figure out how to move his body around and adjust to the fact that there isn't a lot of gravity taking place. And I think your kids can really get swept up in this environment, and the fact that it looks fantastic on screen. It really is one of the most breathtaking science fiction films that I've seen aimed at families in a very long time. Because Harrison Ford's character is recruiting young soldiers, young leaders, we follow Ender on this journey where he has to sort of realize his potential and rise up to the expectations that are being set for him by adults because they need him to essentially succeed. And I think that there are some great conversations that parents can have with their kids about becoming leaders amongst their peers, no matter what age they're in. Ender sort of has to get past some bullying tactics that we're going to talk about in the red flag section. And anybody who's special and anybody who's treated differently is going to be picked upon by certain groups, and Ender certainly goes through that. But he believes in himself, and he has a lot of self-confidence and grows to be the leader that Harrison Ford sees that he can be. And I think that that's a great conversation that parents can have with their kids about potentially becoming a leader, possibly in their class or on a sports team that they participate in. Leadership is always a strong characteristic that should be celebrated. We talked about the green lights in Ender's Game. What are some of its red flags? Well, bullying is definitely a topic that's going to come up with parents if they watch this with their kids. Ender starts at a new school. It's a battle school. And it's funny to talk about bullying in a film that's training their kids to essentially join an army and fight in a war with alien creatures. But there are some rough sequences where Ender, because he's different, is picked on by older kids who are a little bit scared of his potential. And, they react in ways that we often see on screen, the way the bullies react to kids who are different and potentially better than they are. The film doesn't dwell on it. The film doesn't have red flags in the way that we often worry about. The language isn't bad. When there's violence, it's not particularly gory. When it's scary, it's not terrifying. I think that Gavin Hood, the director, knew that he was making a film that was supposed to appeal to kids, or kids of a certain age, at least I'd say preteens. We'll get into that in the appropriate age section below. It's only when the story turns toward the more mature, and it should, I think that's the direction that the story should go, that I think Ender starts to separate itself from, mainstream science fiction that's available for all members of the family to, really focusing in on the more intelligent, more mature kids who possibly read the book or possibly looking for something a little more challenging than what they normally get at the multiplex, which, again, I think is a great thing, but parents just should know ahead of time that if you're bringing your kids to it, these are the types of sequences and scenarios that they're going to see these characters put through, and just be prepared to talk about with them afterwards. We'll get to appropriate ages down below.